You boys have been asking me for more stories recently. Today one came to mind. I was at Muay Thai. I'm incredibly tired right now. I'm speaking a little bit funny because I got punched in the mouth a couple of times. And a story came to mind. The street fight that really scared me out of taking drugs anymore. For an unexpected reason. It's not what you think it would be. And it all begins on the night of the Conor McGregor-Cerrone fight. As a lot of you will know from the tattoo on my back, I'm a big McGregor fan. And I would watch every single one of his fights with my boys. And the problem was they were in Las Vegas, so the fight time in the UK was very, very late. So we would get on it, and on it in the UK means getting the bag in, getting a few drinks down you, and having a bit of a crazy time. So we were getting on it. We were going out. And so we went out to a couple of places, couple of bars, couple of pubs, went a bit crazy. And it was about 1 in the morning. There was only one place left open in our town. So we went to this bar in Winton called the Buffalo Bar. And this place was open till 2, so we had an hour of booze in there before we had to go home and start getting ready to watch this fight. So go in, we're all leery, we're all going a bit nuts, and there's about 5 of us. There's 2 guys, these 2 skinheads playing on the pool table. So we go over, and in England you put pound coins, the little pound coins, you put them on the side of the table when you want to play. And we went to put a pound on the table. There was already so many coins, but there was no one in this bar. And we were like, who's waiting to play the table? To these 2 guys. And they were like, well, we're playing. We're doing all of these coins and you lot ain't gonna play. And we were like, oh, right. A couple of geezers. We can handle them. There were 2 chicks as well. They had 2 girls. So a few of my boys that went to start talking to their girls. We started being a bit leery with them. I can't remember too much because I was so hammered. But as far as I remember, we ended up playing pool. No one got hurt. There was no real argument and everything seemed fine, or so we thought. And these guys just seemed to sort of disappear. And the next hour went very quickly. We drank some more drinks. We played on the pool table. And we decided to walk home. So we walked home in convoy. Big old group of us, 5 of us. Nothing's going to happen to us, there's 5 of us. All very, very hammered, mind you. So we walked back to the house and we walked through the front door. Now what we hadn't realised was these guys had not left the bar and gone home. They had left the bar and got in their van and they followed us back to our house. So when we got home, a few of the boys went through to the kitchen, a couple went upstairs to use the toilet, and there was me, my friend Adris, and my friend Ross on the stairs in the house. And these 2 guys burst in the door and started beating up our friend Ross on the stairs. We're hammered, we're like, what the fuck's going on? Someone just burst in the door. So me and Adris run out there, we had this big ledge off the side of the house, maybe 6-foot ledge down onto concrete. And we pretty much threw these guys off the ledge and then jumped down and we got into this big brawl outside the house. Just the 2 of us, me and Adris. Everyone else was unaware. They were in the house. They didn't fucking know what was going on. Ross was like just so hammered. He didn't even know he'd been punched. He was just looking at the blood in his hands on the stairs. And me and Adris went out and were having this brawl. And I was on top of this guy, throwing a few punches. Out of nowhere, I had this real sharp pain on the back of my head. This real sharp pain, a big thud on the back of my head. And I turned around and there was a 3rd guy that had gotten out of their van and he had just smashed me over the head with a crowbar. And I touched my head and I just had blood all over my hands and there was just warm blood just dripping down the side of my face. I got up and I sort of pushed the guy and I went to take his crowbar. The other guy sort of stood up and looked at his mate like, oh, you probably shouldn't have done that. That was a little bit too far. And the guys, they all got up and they got in the van. And I was sort of still holding my head. Now, any sane person, and this is the bit that stopped me in reflection. This is the bit that stopped me from taking drugs. It was not the fight. It was my reaction to having this grievous bodily wound, this horrible gash in my head from just being assaulted with a deadly weapon. I decided in my head it would be a good idea because somebody in the neighbouring house had called the police. We had not done anything wrong. We'd been assaulted in our house. But because I was so fucked up, I decided I needed to escape. So I climbed up onto the roof of somebody's house and I just laid there in my own blood for like 45 minutes, watching the police come, watching them go. Once they went, I went back down into the house and I continued to, and I sat down to watch the Donald Cerrone fight with Conor McGregor. I didn't get my head looked at all. It was bleeding all over me and we were all just in a complete state. A couple of my boys came and wrapped some toilet roll around my head, but the bad thing was, after a couple of minutes of sitting on the sofa, I threw up. passed out because I had a concussion in my head. And we were all so fucked up. And no one did anything about it. I didn't do anything about it. I just woke up in the morning. We were all KO'd. I woke up in the morning in a pool of my own blood, having not gone to the hospital or anything. And I went back home to my girlfriend at the time, and she was fucking furious. She was like, what the hell's happened to you? Why did you not call me last night? And I was like, I was in such a state. I just didn't even think to call you. I was just had some crazy shit going in my mind. I thought it was invincible. I went to hospital the next day and had stitches, and my head stitched up, and luckily I had no permanent damage. Well, maybe I have had some permanent damage, but not as far as the doctors have said anyway. But it was on reflection of that story when I got home over the next few days, and I thought, fuck, you were so lucky that you didn't die, for starters, because you can kill someone by hitting them with that. You basically nearly killed yourself, because if you had been hit and you'd been bleeding internally in your head, you didn't take yourself to the hospital, and neither did any of your friends, because you're all fucking crazy and you're all on drugs. And you left the people that could have helped you, the police that could have called an ambulance and looked after you. You went and climbed the roof. You really were trying to kill yourself in the middle of the night. So it was never the fact that we would get into fights or go crazy when we were taking gear or getting really fucked up, but it was the fact that I had no concern for my own health and my own well-being. And that really sort of scared me after that night. And after that, I just stopped being that guy anymore. I just stopped being that crazy guy that got coke in and did that sort of stuff, because I just thought there's really no point in risking your life like that for what you think is a little bit of entertainment. And these substances are so strong, they can seriously alter your mind and get you into big trouble. Like, let's just play that a few different ways. One, I could have died. Two, who knows what I could have done if I'd gotten hold of a crowbar and then gone at another person. I could have killed someone. We could have thrown someone off the wall when they came into our house. They could have landed on their head and died. And I'd just say, like, a lot of people, especially in the UK, they play down the magnitude of, like, drugs and what it does to you. It's very popular at university, whatever. Just be careful out there, boys, if you're a young man and you're starting to experiment those things, because you can make mistakes when you're fucked up that can impact the rest of your life. So there you go, there's your story. Boys, if you haven't joined the Gorilla Tribe yet, now's the time to do it. You join it in the testosterone course below. The WhatsApp group is nearly full, there's 8 spaces left, so after that you won't be in the original WhatsApp group. So if you want to join, go check it out in the link below. Apart from that, we have this Muay Thai video, an absolute movie, coming out tomorrow, which I think you boys will thoroughly enjoy. And that's about it for me for today, so I'm going to go get some rest. I'm going to go rest this jaw. I'm going to go rest my jaw. It's quite sore from getting kicked in the face. And boys, look out for that episode tomorrow. You're going to absolutely love it. See you on the other side. Whoppa!